There's a podcast I keep seeing on Instagram, and it's called Difficult Conversation. Or is it The Necessary Conversation? It's about a pair of siblings and parents, and they have conversations about primarily about politics. And basically, it's it's titled a conversation, but it's from my how I see it, it's not really a conversation. It's more just like everybody talking about what they think is right. And basically, we think of conversations as a back and forth, right? I think what's missing in a lot of modern day conversations, especially difficult conversations, is hearing what the other person has to say. So today, I wanted to give you a little bit of a perspective about how to have these difficult conversations with peace and ease. Now, an easy conversation is a conversation where you don't need to really worry about what's going to happen as a result of the conversation because the topic of the conversation at hand is a low stakes one. It won't dramatically alter your life. It won't dramatically alter how you are feeling and how you are experiencing the world. So in these situations, conversations, they can't be that impactful, but these are still great conversations to have. Difficult conversations tend to be higher stakes. Why? Because it's high stakes. So what do we mean by higher stakes? What's the difference between a low stakes thing and a high stakes thing? Because knowing that difference, I think, would be very valuable, right? Because ideally, wouldn't it be nice if all of our conversations were easy? Wouldn't it be nice if we didn't have to worry about any kind of a conversation? So it's nice to consider what is the difference between a high stakes conversation that's difficult versus a low stake conversation that's a little bit easier to have. High stakes conversations tend to center around things that you strongly believe in or things you strongly care about. And the more strongly you feel about something, the more you don't want to be challenged. So forget the other person for a second, right? Just think about it in your terms. When you talk with another person, right? It's generally easier for you if you feel like you are listened to. When you look at the recent debate, debate clips that you see on YouTube these days, there's not a lot of listening going on. There's a lot of me telling you. But the thing is, we have to understand from the perspective of the person who is engaging in 90% of the talking, it feels fucking great. So, if we are not emotionally at a level where we can have a conversation, the thing is, no matter how long we talk, we're not really going to be talking with each other. We are just going to be one sided conversations with just coincidentally two people on the spot. So, the purpose of a difficult conversation, at least at first, right, has to be about getting to the level where you're not so invested in talking about your talking points repeatedly and repeatedly over and over. But the thing is, now we have to consider what makes a person this repetitive? What makes a person this focused and intent on talking about the same point over and over and over and over? Take an example from your life. I know that everybody has a talking point. that they are deeply passionate about. But what keeps you going? Why can you go on and on and on about this one talking point? It's when you feel like you are not heard enough. It's when you feel like you are not witnessed enough. So the thing is, it's a very feeling thing. It's less of a cognitive, yes, I have told you this information once and therefore you must understand it kind of a thing. It is a feeling thing. We can talk for 5 hours. And if my entire life I've been suppressing my urge to talk about this, 5 hours reasonably won't be enough for me to loosen up my grip on this insistence I have about talking. And you know what? It might even take days or weeks for me to get all the talking out of me so that I can take a breath of relief and be like, okay, wow, that feels fucking amazing. You know what? I'm done talking now. And it's at that level where a conversation can begin to happen. So I think the common pitfall that people fall into when it comes to difficult conversations is we want quick results. But the thing is, difficult conversations are difficult many times because of the amount of time that was spent not in conversations. So if you are really meaning to have a difficult conversation with somebody, based on all the talking points that I have given you, my recommendation is take a long time frame. Before you want to get your point across, spend a lot of intentional effort listening to the other person and let them experience their feeling of they are finally heard by someone. They are finally held and witnessed by someone. We all are very lacking in this experience, in this time and day, right? In 2025, we all have so much pent up energy inside of here. We need to, of course, we need to be expressing those more often. But at the same time, it is important that no matter how ridiculous a person sounds, no matter how stupid another person sounds, no matter how ethically wrong another person may sound, it is important that we try to understand where they are coming from. Because if I am a human and they are a human, what is the difference? What's stopping me from being this person? We have to be willing to understand that. And in order to understand that, we need to let the other person be a teacher to us. But needless to say, this is why it's a difficult conversation.